Tonight, the founder of one of North Texas's most prominent megachurches is facing child charges. Hello, everybody. I'm Heather Hayes.
And I'm Steve Eager. It's 9 o'clock. An Oklahoma grand jury indicted Gateway Church founder Robert Morris on 5 felony counts.
Robert Morris is in trouble. And this is not looking good, not for pagans, not for Christians either. Because we are talking about an old man who's old enough to be a grandfather. And the person that is involved in this case, the lady Cynthia, right? Sidney? Yeah, Sidney Clemishire. She is old enough to be a grandmother. So my concerns now is not only for the Christendom, it's also for the grandchildren or even maybe great-grandchildren who are going to see this. It's not looking good, and of course he's still innocent until proven guilty. And this is all about a pastor named Robert Morris. He's the founder of Gateway Church in Texas, and this is haunting him at his old age, because this actually happened about 40-something years ago. And that was just as a result of an involvement with a minor. And that was the Sidney.
The allegations emerged in June of last year when the Christian Post published a woman's story alleging she was by Morris starting at the age of 12. The church first said it was aware of Morris's past, quote, moral failure, then later said it did not know her age, the victim's age, or the extent of the abuse. 3 days later, Morris resigned from Gateway. In November, Gateway announced it removed multiple elders who knew the victim's age at the time of the abuse. And now, Morris is facing those criminal charges. Casey Stiegel in studio with the developing story. Casey.
Yeah, good evening. This was a case that garnered national attention last summer and brought down the man who founded one of the largest mega churches in the country. But tonight, disgraced pastor Robert Morris faces more than embarrassing accusations. He's now staring down felony charges for his alleged misconduct.
Yeah, it's a disgrace. I think there is a problem in Christendom, okay? I don't know if is God trying to sieve the wheat or if the devil is attacking Christianity. I don't really know which one, but recently there have been a lot of things going on, likes of T.D. Jakes, in Africa, T.B. Joshua, who's very popular, although he's late. And a lot of them, and then this one. And considering the fact that this man is heading or in control a lot of Christians, like tens of thousands, like a lot of them. Just look at his church. Huge. Yeah, but honestly, he's still not guilty, okay? And we'll have to cut him some slacks for now until he's proven guilty.
The 5-page multi-county grand jury indictment from Oklahoma contains disturbing details outlining 5 separate counts of or indecent acts to starting on or about Christmas Day, 1982, stating Robert Preston Morris, quote, did intentionally touch TC, who was 12 years old at the time. All court documents do not name the victim. The initials, timeline, and details match the allegations made by Cindy Clemishire. And while Fox 4 does not usually identify victims of alleged Clemishire went public with her story last June, detailing moments of her childhood in Oklahoma, where she says Robert Morris her repeatedly. At the time, Morris was a traveling preacher and would stay at Clemishire's home. Aside from 2 alleged crimes in 1982, the indictment outlines similar instances in January of 1983 and 1985. According to court paperwork, it escalated when his victim was 13 or 14, highlighting incidents between January of 1983 and 1985. When Morris, quote, removed her while inside a parked car. On Wednesday, an attorney representing Cindy Clemishire released this statement to Fox 4. After almost 43 years, the law has finally caught up with Robert Morris for the horrific crimes he committed against me. Now it is time for the legal system to hold him accountable. My family and I are deeply grateful to the authorities who have worked tirelessly to make this day possible and remain hopeful that justice will ultimately prevail. Last June, Morris stepped down from his position as senior pastor at Gateway Church in Southlake after Clemishire's allegations came to light. Morris is a well-known pastor nationwide, once a spiritual advisor to President Trump. A representative from Gateway had this to say in light of the breaking developments. We are aware of the actions being taken by the legal authorities in Oklahoma and are grateful for the work of the justice system in holding abusers accountable for their actions. We continue to pray for Cindy Clemishire and her family, for the members and staff of Gateway Church, and for all of those impacted by this terrible situation.
So why all of these years later? Well, the Oklahoma Attorney General says that the statute of limitations did actually not apply to this case because the accused has never been a resident of that state. Today, we called numbers believed to be registered to Robert Morris, but nobody answered the line. Fox 4 left a voicemail, but have not received a response or any calls back.
I know that this is disheartening for especially people who go to his church. Actually saw a comment from someone who was, one of the congregants in the church, and how heartbroken she is, not expecting this to happen. And one thing you will have to understand is that this is a man. He is not God, okay? And we don't have to be discouraged as Christians when such things happen. And we have to also understand that God called us, or rather, God chose us. We didn't choose him. There's a reason why God led you to that church. He didn't lead you to that church because of the man. So you might be making a mistake if you are worried that this man did this, so what am I doing as a Christian? That is not the point. When you feel that way, it means that the person you found or the person you are looking for in the church is your pastor. Actually, Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life, and no one comes to the Father except through me. He didn't say no one comes to the Father except through your pastor. So it is okay if your man of God, if Morris fell from grace, that is, if he's guilty of this. It doesn't mean Christianity is useless. You still have to look unto Jesus, because honestly, everything the man may have taught you over the years doesn't really mean that it's wrong. It could still be right, but he has fallen from grace, and that's it. You got to move on. But if you fall from the grace with him, it's up to you. But let's continue.
She called news of the indictment incredible. Cindy Clemishire was 12 when this happened. Today, she's in her 50s and speaking openly about what she describes as horrific crimes committed against her as a child.
Having the truth be heard, it's changed the way I feel about myself.
Nearly a year after Cindy Clemishire shared her story as a 12-year-old, she says the law has finally caught up with the man responsible.
So God heals, God redeems.
Robert Morris, the founder of Southlake's Gateway Church, was indicted today by an Oklahoma grand jury. He's charged with 5 counts for 5 alleged incidents in Hominy, Oklahoma, between 1982 and 1985. Clemishire has confirmed she is the unnamed victim in the indictment.
I did not understand what was going on.
In a sit-down interview last year, she told us it began on Christmas night, 1982, the same day this picture was taken. Morris, at the time, was a traveling preacher who, with his wife and children, would often stay with her family while in Oklahoma, where she lived. Morris admitted to inappropriate behavior with a young lady in a public statement heavily criticized for its phrasing. How do you describe what happened? What do you call it?
I call it child.
According to the Oklahoma Attorney General's office, a statute of limitations on charges doesn't apply in this case because Morris himself never lived in Oklahoma. In a new statement, Clemishire said, "Now it is time for the legal system to hold him accountable. My family and I are deeply grateful to the authorities who've worked tirelessly to make this day possible and remain hopeful that justice will ultimately prevail." Well, Robert Morris has not spoken or appeared publicly since resigning as lead pastor of Gateway Church last summer in the wake of these accusations. And the Oklahoma Attorney General says his initial court appearance has not been scheduled, so we're not sure when we'll be seeing him. In a statement this evening, though, Gateway Church said, quote, "We are aware of the..."
So from the look of things, this was supposed to have been kept secret, because it dents people's image. But it looks like the lady decided to come out openly, but I don't know why she did it, but she knows better. But I'm very worried that, looking at her age, she probably have grandchildren and for sure children, right? And I don't know how it's going to affect the little ones in school, because this has become a public thing. But at the same time, you wouldn't blame her, right? Because she knows why she's doing it. And this is going to help a lot of people. A lot of people have suffered in the hands of clergymen, likes of John Rahill, Dan Rahill, Reverend Father Dan Rahill. Yeah, it's crazy. But let's continue.
Rise of megachurch pastor Robert Morris.
Thank you, Jesus, for
Watching him has been harder and harder.
Morris founded Gateway Church in 2000.
If you don't tell the whole truth, you're not being honest.
One of the largest evangelical congregations in the nation, with 9 campuses in North Texas and tens of thousands of devoted worshipers. He became a member of President Donald Trump's Spiritual Advisory Council. But to Cindy, Morris was the traveling evangelist who began her on Christmas Day, 1982.
He told me, he said, "Hey, come in my room before you go to bed tonight. I want to talk to you."
He was 21, Cindy was 12.
He started by and putting his hands. He wanted me to stand and close my eyes so he could and look at me as a 12-year-old.
Do you remember what he would say to you, what he'd tell you?
Well, the very first time he told me, "You can't tell anyone because it will ruin everything."
She says the abuse lasted 4 years until she told her family what was happening. In 2005, after years of struggling, Cindy reached out to Morris and suggested that he pay her restitution.
No one can give me back my teenage years.
It was just last month that for the first time she shared her story publicly online. Morris had been sharing his version for years.
Temptation is an act of the flesh, and I developed an appetite before I was saved.
As he rose in influence and power at Gateway, Morris sometimes alluded to past transgressions.
I was very immoral, and I was immoral a lot.
In June, Morris told the Christian Post he had inappropriate behavior with a young lady and resigned from Gateway. Gateway told NBC News it is committed to protecting people, first and foremost children, and that it has retained a law firm to conduct an investigation. Gateway says before last month, the current elders did not have all the facts. Former Gateway pastor Stephen LeBlanc says parts of Robert Morris's past were known for years. He just didn't know Cindy's exact age.
It wasn't cloaked at all. It was a common knowledge, somehow celebrated that God had disciplined a man and restored him.
Even now, he worries former colleagues aren't being honest about what they knew.
I can't think of any accountability that they've taken other than to plead ignorant.
And you don't buy it?
No.
Other incidents bring the culture of the church into question. Court documents show earlier this year, Gateway Church settled a lawsuit brought in 2020 by the mother of a minor who alleged she was by another member and that Gateway leaders concealed and discredited evidence. The church did not admit to any liability.
So it actually looks like the lady approached this man like in 2005. I don't know what she demanded, but it looks like she wasn't okay with whatever the man did after that. Because it looks like this pastor has been like coming open somehow, stating the fact that he has actually done some things wrong. not necessarily stating the everything that happened the way it is, but he went that far. And it makes me wonder, judging the fact that this man was, I don't want to say only 21 years old, and for sure, I'm not like saying what he did is right, okay? It is wrong, absolutely. But I wonder if he has actually asked God for forgiveness. But even if he did, humans probably haven't forgiven him, okay? I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know where he is with God. I pray that he is in good terms with God right now. And whatever we are seeing right now is a physical thing, not a spiritual thing for him. Yeah, he definitely needs prayers. Like, honestly, it is sad.
They don't look at a child as someone to protect. Let's use the child in any way we have to protect ourselves.
In letters from 2007 reviewed by NBC News, Robert Morris's attorneys blamed Cindy, claiming she initiated inappropriate behavior. Cindy and her attorneys say that same year, Robert Morris asked her to sign an NDA in exchange for $25,000. She refused.
Well, I don't know. I want to say this part doesn't look good. I had to look up what NDA is. They said it's non-disclosure agreement. I didn't know before now, okay? And he actually offered $25,000, and this lady refused. Yeah, that would make you wonder, what might have gone or have been swept under the carpet. I don't know. And then judging the fact that 5 elders, I don't know if they resigned or if they were kicked out of the church for knowing what happened. I don't really know, but it's not looking good. There's no way you can look at this thing and say it can be salvageable. It's dirty.
Morris did not respond to multiple interview requests. While Gateway's review is underway, 4 church officials have taken a leave of absence from the Board of Elders.
Do you think even now Gateway is protecting him?
I do.
Cindy says what she wants now is to help other survivors feel less alone.
1 Timothy 2, 1 to 2, okay? I urge then, first of all, that petitions, prayers, intercessions, and thanksgiving be made for all people, for kings and all those in authority, that we may live peacefully and quiet lives in all godliness and holiness. This is a call for us to pray for those in authority. And those in authority are people like the pastors, okay? There's a reason why we have to pray for our a lot of people are more interested in being prayed for. Like, each time they go to church, they are all selfish about what they need and what they can get from God through probably the intercession of their pastors, and all that. Forgetting that these men are human beings. They are tempted even more than we lay people. Okay? So that is the reason we have to pray for them. Because as we pray for them and God is helping them, it is helping us too. They are more vulnerable than you can imagine. This is not to say that Morris is right in what he did, but this is just to say that we should get on our knees and pray for these pastors. This could be an attack on Christendom. And of course, that's what it is. Okay? Regardless of how it came or how it manifested, that is what it is. Because the devil is a deceiver and he is not resting. He wants to bring the body of Christ down. And even now, we still have to pray for him, regardless of what he did, so that God would help him out. And also pray for the family of this lady, because it's not an easy thing that they are going through right now, honestly, because this is not only exposing her, it is also exposing the whole family, and even maybe the grandchildren. I don't know if she has, but all things being equal, she should have grandchildren. or even great-grandchildren, depending. I don't know. It doesn't look good, okay? But I pray that this goes out really quickly and it doesn't happen again. Like, subscribe, and follow my channel, and I'll see you next time, okay? Peace.